just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
What time is your apology to Dawn Plitzowite?
Saw that.
Contract extension.
Yeah.
As Gopher women's basketball coach through, did I see the year 2042 or 2032?
I believe 32 for now.
Okay, for now, yeah.
For now, yes. That was agreed upon and approved today by the Board of Regents. Did you see the other contract extension from the University of Minnesota today?
PJ didn't get another extension, did he?
Your other guy did.
Oh,
Smiley
really?
Assassin.
Oh.
Mark Coyle, I believe, a
got
2-year extension. He makes over $2 million now a year.
That's a pretty good gig.
It's good being Coyle.
It's extremely good.
It's good being Mark Coyle.
How far out does that extend him? Do you know? Off the top of your head?
I think he's got, hang on, I had the release here. We have so many Dr. Dans, by the way. We might have to do like a 2-day Dr. Dan.
That's okay. We can extend it till tomorrow. Or add a second day.
26, 2032 as well. So he's got, it's about 6 years, it looks like.
Okay, that's not bad.
So, yeah, it's a busy day, Board of Regents, University of Minnesota.
Extremely busy. What else you want to get to? Well, I know what you want to get to. You've already teased it.
I want to see if I can get to everybody. Twins got crushed today. Nobody cares. Lynx won, or Lynx were off. Whelan Duelan on that was great. They play tomorrow, or I should say Saturday night in Vegas.
Defending champions. The opponent.
The Aces. Through the eyes of celebrities, I've got 5 things. 2 of them are combined.
Okay.
This is from the NBA Twitter account. It's Jerry Seinfeld and then Ben Stiller on the court last night, which they never left, as Seinfeld will talk about.
One of the greatest moments in New York sports history just happened. And nobody here wants to go home.
It's impossible to put into words. This team never gives up. And they just came back for one of the biggest deficits ever. Probably the best playoff game I've ever seen.
So,
who was the second guy?
Ben Stiller.
Oh, Stiller, okay, yeah.
And they put out the list last night. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter of all the celebrities that were there, and it includes all the guys we're going to hear from. And then A-Rod was there.
He was there. We assumed it.
Row 7 for A-Rod.
Well,
because then they'd have the seat assignments, and then a bunch of New York Giants, including former Gopher Tyler Nubin. He made the list.
I saw that.
He was in a suite somewhere.
That. Yeah.
So we'll go through some of them. Dan Patrick, as you would imagine, he's got good relationships with a lot of these guys. Had them on today. He kind of just ran through all his famous buddies that were at the game.
Like a roundup?
Pretty much. Here's Adam Sandler with his observations.
Before the game, I was saying to my wife, I think this is going to be the highlight of our sporting career, going to this, you know what I'm saying. And, yes, and then the first quarter didn't go well, and there was some devastation. But you kept thinking, like, there's a chance. And then you started going, I don't know if there is a chance of anything coming. Well, I guess we'll figure it out game 5. And then it just started doing what they've been doing, just chipping away. And then San Antonio was missing shots. And holy cow, it was just complete love. It was complete love. I'll tell you what, Wu-Tang's was halftime show. Like, it just felt loose. It felt loose. People were still having fun, even though we were down so much, and it took so long to chip away. There was still kind of a good vibe, and little kids were all over the place having fun. And oh my God, when the team won, I look back at these nice little kids who were being funny the whole game, and they were all crying, and it was one of the biggest moments I've ever seen, man.
The other funny part about the Sandler is he was walking around New York on his phone doing the interview. People were stopping him for pictures while he was doing the conversation. It was very Wobble Bingo-like. Like, he had to tell one guy, I'm talking to Dan Patrick. I can't do it right now. I'll get you on the way back. It was very good. Here's 2 minutes of John McEnroe, who sits right next to Larry David, and this might be my favorite. I'm going to read an SVU gal, Mariska Hargitay bit, because she was sitting next to Taylor Swift, big fan. So I'm going to read that in a second. But here's Johnny Mac, who was sitting right next to Larry David, and I would just love to have been a part of this conversation.
Compare the feeling of winning a Grand Slam event or last night.
Well, take either one of them, but I tell you, that was one of the all-timers. I don't know if I've ever been in a stadium.
I'd like to tell you that some of my matches come close, but that was the mother of all crowds, the second half. So helped him through. I've been waiting 53 years, Dan. It happened twice before I was 14. I thought it happened every 5 years or so. Unbelievable road. And, I'm sitting next to Larry David in the game last night, and we have a tendency to get a little down on things when things are, not going our way. Well, that's, here we go again, same as the last time. And I had this feeling this time. I said, Larry, we got to get a little more positive here. We've got to, we're not out of it yet. We're 30 down. It's just a train wreck. But these guys aren't missing. We're not making it. I'm just trying to talk myself into it because, I have this tennis academy. I'm trying to tell kids never give up. Keep trying every point. And it gets to a point where you get so discouraged you can't do it. And we were approaching that, but we weren't there yet. So this, miracle of miracles somehow occurred.
Okay, but this is against your brand and Larry David's to actually be positive out there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've grown to appreciate what I've accomplished in the past, and also try to appreciate how lucky I am to even be at an event like that after all these years. And so, Larry's like, let's get out of here. I can't handle this anymore. I'm like, Larry, take a deep breath here. And by the end of it, it was like divine intervention or something. These analytics or whatever, whatever that is, they don't factor in like heart and will, in my opinion. And thank God the Spurs, seem to be playing the game of analytics. Let's keep shooting threes. Yeah. Let's keep doing this. And even if we're missing, eventually they'll fall. Well, they weren't falling. And because they weren't, the crowd started getting more and more into it. Absolutely electric by the end of it. And then OG to do that tip in, he saved us, is the bottom line.
That's good. That's a really good interview.
McEnroe telling Larry David we need to be more positive.
Is the whole thing is, I wonder if Larry really was about to leave, or that isn't just part of the bit. I don't know.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. We've had enough of this.
Larry,
stuff.
Calm down.
You want to talk about FOMO in the parking lot or in the subway or whatever the case may be.
That is who you want to find, the people that did leave.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've been found in a couple of cases. Yeah, that's a really good overview of pretty much everybody, right?
So SVU gal, Mariska Hargitay, devoted Knicks fan. This is from the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
She talked with them today or did a statement. She's such a devoted Knicks fan, she decided to sprint to Madison Square Garden after a 2-day show on Broadway to make it for the 8:30 Eastern tip. Here's the statement. I took 4 minutes off the running time of my show. I knew the traffic would be crazy, so I sprinted from the Hudson Theater on 44th and 6th to MSG. But I knew everything was going to be all right because I was wearing my Jalen Brunson Kobe 5 Protos that Jalen gave me a few months ago. But I'm not going to lie, the 10-block sprint after a 2-day show was no joke. She was spotted courtside Thursday's Knicks game, blah, blah, blah. Let me give you the last quote. I love my husband, and our wedding night was great and all, but I think it might have been the greatest night of my life. Yeah. The game was so brutal, down 29 at the half, but I'm telling you, to watch this team fight and claw their way back, to see that look in Jalen's eyes, there are just endless life lessons in there. And then OG comes flying in, his orange and blue cape fluttering behind him, and it's just pandemonium. It'll get replayed again and again, not just as an epic moment in basketball, but on the highlight reel of the best moment in sports, and all I could think was, that just happened. Oh, my God, I love this team. Oh, my God, I love this city.
Man, oh, man. Well, that's all true. And that's why it's good. This is one of those that's going to be remembered, whether you're certainly, especially if you're a Knicks fan, but I don't think you have to be a Knicks fan to remember it. And I am going to attempt later to localize the angle in a way that might not be all that well received, because it certainly wasn't on X overnight. But we will try to do that. Maybe might have to wait a while because we've got letters at the bottom of the hour, and we've got Paul Blume coming up, correct?
We do. And first, a keyword. The fan has your chance to win $2,500. Just enter the keyword Liberty at KFAN.com. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword Liberty.
We now have a plea deal in place, and a plea that took place in court today involving Vance Boelter. Paul Blume's been covering that story the last couple of days for our station, Fox 9. He'll give us an update on what transpired today and what's coming up next. Stay tuned.
You are listening.
Paul Blume joins us now, intrepid reporter for Fox 9, who has been covering the developments in the Boelter case. We talked about some of this with Kessler yesterday, but Mr. Blume, joining us via the Connecticut Water Systems Hotline, has been in court on this story. So give us, I guess, the nuts and bolts of this. Vance Boelter pleading guilty today to killing Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, shooting Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on. I caught the bit of your segment with Pat Kessler on the pod. Today was the actual plea this morning, and in exchange for the government, the federal prosecutors not seeking the death penalty, the deal was Boelter pleads guilty to all 6 federal charges he was facing: murder, stalking, a couple of firearm offenses. He pleads guilty to all of them. He takes life sentences, so consecutive double life sentences, and then they tack on 20 more years on top of that for those firearm offenses, and then he goes away to life. Goes away for life. No possibility of parole, no possibility of release, no possibility of an appeal, no trial here. He'll be sentenced at a later date, but that was the deal. That's what took the death penalty off the table, and U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen made clear that if he did not accept it, the federal government was very much interested in pursuing capital punishment in this case. So the agreement's made. The federal case basically closes today. There'll be a formal sentencing by the end of July. Judge Thunheim had laid out his timeline at least. He wasn't formally sentenced today. Meantime, across the street over in Hennepin County, on the state side, the Hennepin County attorney announced today that she will continue prosecuting him in state court, where again he could face additional life sentences for first-degree murder indictments. So suffice to say, Vance Boelter is heading to prison for the rest of his life.
Some folks I've been talking to said regarding the death penalty part of this, that once the DOJ lost the death penalty argument, this was in the Mangione case in New York.
Yeah.
That basically it was, in effect, game over here in attempting to include it in this case once the court struck it down in New York. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, it was murky. U.S. Attorney admitted it was murky, but he did think that it could be argued here. The evidence isn't exactly the same, and I mean, no doubt you're talking to smart lawyer types. I mean, my understanding is for the federal offense, right? It's interesting that there isn't a federal statute, death penalty crime of killing, like let's say an elected official. I mean, if you killed the president, assassinated the vice president, certainly high-ranking federal officials, you can seek the death penalty on that statute. In these cases, Mangione and Boelter, they were looking to sort of combine a murder with an interstate stalking offense. And interstate stalking meaning, he used the internet, the GPS, to track down his victims. And the secondary crime in those cases need to be a crime of violence. So is stalking a crime of violence? The judge in New York, out of the New York district, said no, it was not. Here, details evidence a little different type of case, and then I don't mean to describe it so coldly, but as one example in terms of how the murder was carried out on the streets of New York City. He came out of the dark. He kind of pounced. We've seen the video. He kills United Healthcare CEO on his way, to the hotel. There wasn't really, an established stalking, creating fear, building violence crime. Here, as we learned today in vivid, chilling detail, what he did inside both the Hoffman home, but more notably because of the death penalty component, you have to, kill somebody inside the Hortman home was horrific. That he kind of storms inside, he chases Melissa Hortman down on the stairs, there's got to be fear being built up. She sees her husband killed, and then he assassinates her by putting a gun to her head and killing her. So different circumstances. The prosecution, federal prosecutors thought eventually they could get that type of combination crime charge through, but maybe it takes years. Maybe, the district court judge says, no, I don't buy it. I'm going to, defer to New York. What happened in New York? They go to the Court of Appeals. Maybe it comes back. Maybe it goes to the Supreme Court. Maybe they fight it for years and we end up in the same place. Or maybe they get it through. But rather than kind of building out that case over years, over long periods of time, putting family through trauma, leaving the case kind of open, they closed the case today. They felt good. It's double life sentences. He's not going to ever take a breath of freedom again. They feel good about it. Case closed.
Some of the details you say are, and I don't know how much of this is new or how much of the, I feel like some of this we knew, but I also feel like there was more detail. You linked to some of it. The defendant asks who else is inside the house. When Mr. Hortman responded that only his wife was there, the defendant said, I need to see her before I go. Mr. Hortman then calls into the house, Melissa, they need to see you. As the exchange continued, Mr. Hortman told the defendant, who remained outside the door shining a flashlight, we can't see you. And it goes on from there. Mr. Hortman asked for the defendant's name and badge number. I think we knew that, but some of the details did feel very new and just chilling.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. Dan, I'm in that neighborhood hours after the shooting. I've covered this case, blanketed it for a year now. I mean, it's almost a year to the day. New details, vividly described. Now, that was a document that was filed, sort of the official plea agreement, but how it sort of presented itself in court were rapid-fire questions from his defense attorney, basically kind of turning each of those sentences you just read into a question. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you did you kind of stumble over and then say Maple Grove police? We hadn't heard those specifics, but then you didn't quite get to the section where again, yes, he chases her down on the stairwell and assassinates her with a gun to her head. But, it was the first time we heard it, and the courtroom was packed, right? We had victims' families, we had the Hoffman sitting, front row, staring at Boelter during his allocution. We know, the Hortman kids, the grown children, parents were in the courtroom, and when he admitted to the assassination, that is like when the audible crying and gasping occurred. I mean, it was intense in that courtroom when we got to those details.
Do we know how the families feel about this process, the way it has played out, and basically the deal that's been done?
Yeah, not particularly. People have asked me about the death penalty. Certainly the Hortmans, as the victims of the deadly murder that would lead to the death penalty, have sort of a voice, like as part of the statute of determining whether the federal government's going to pursue a capital punishment case. They're consulted. We know the Hoffmans met with U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen, and basically the decision is made, an initial opinion is formed in the local U.S. Attorney's office, and then that goes all the way up to a panel in Washington, D.C., with the Attorney General having the ultimate say. I was told by sourcing close to the victims that folks involved, folks who kind of weighed in, had different opinions on whether they wanted the death penalty to be pursued. I know you and Pat discussed yesterday. That's a tough call. I mean, that's a big human decision. Religion figures in, political leaning figures in. And I heard they had mixed feelings about whether they wanted the federal government to seek the death penalty. I don't know who was where and, what opinions came from what voices. So there's closure today. We got a statement from the Hoffmans. They left, without talking directly to the media, or taking sort of substantive questions about that. So I don't want to put words in their mouth. I mean, I just imagine as a reporter who covers these that there is an element of closure, and then not, going through the trauma of a trial and the like, and really stretching this out. And if there are appeals upon appeals and judges and appeals, court opinions, I do have to feel like, at least on some levels, there is some sort of relief and closure in the process that it kind of comes to a close, at least in federal court today.
So what's the next step on this thing?
So we'll wait sentencing. Judge Thunheim said he wants to get sentencing done by the end of July. Now, what was interesting is Vance Boelter was very sort of cold, very on point today. He answered the questions, very succinctly. Yes, guilty. Yeah, I'm okay. Yes, did it, whatever. He did not speak, right? We all kind of, at the beginning of this, the political ramblings, like where were we going to go? Was he going to lash out in court? We were waiting for that. It didn't happen today. When we go to sentencing, that hearing, he will be given a platform. He gets the mic. He gets an opportunity to speak to the court. Will we hear something from him? I don't know. We did not. Well, he admitted to the chilling details and that he planned the attack for months, down to the wearing the silicone mask and dressing like police and using the computer to stalk and to figure out homes and children and know names and everything before he carried out the attack. We did not get into the motivation. Why did he do it? Why did he do it? What motivated him to take that action? He's a 57-year-old guy with no criminal record. Who just went on that rampage and then clearly, planned it for months. So does he say something in court? We'll all be kind of watching for that. The sentencing is a formality now. And then, what happens across the street in state court with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, we'll see. It just seems like redundancy, and we'll see if we eventually get a guilty plea there.
Real quick, if you got a minute, a couple texts have come in that I want to get your reaction to. This is from Alan in Afton. Will you ask Paul why the state still feels compelled to pursue its charges? He has confessed, is going away for life, plus seems like a vanity exercise for the county attorney and a waste of money. What are you hearing on that?
Yeah, no, I see the social media responses. I tweeted it out earlier today that they were moving ahead with it. I get the argument. Not completely clear to me. The Hennepin County Attorney wants justice done for the state of Minnesota. The crimes occurred in Hennepin County. There's some additional charges beyond the murder, down to, I hate to even put this out there, but the killing of the Hortman's dog, there's some elements of kind of holding someone accountable for each and every, crime as charged. But, I've heard in federal charges can be pardoned by a president. No one is saying something like that, but those are just a couple of thoughts I have as if I'm being, pressed on why the Hennepin County Attorney's Office would want to continue with their charges.
Dana in Fargo, Dan, so he gets a double life sentence, but the DOJ is going for the death penalty for Charlie Kirk's murder. Does that make sense? Now, again, my understanding is that there was interest in trying to go death penalty, but the feeling was they were not going to be able, on the basis of whatever's in place, to succeed, in part linking it to the ruling that went against the death penalty in the Mangione case. Can you add anything to that?
Not greatly. We talked about how the stalking charge kind of figures in, that's how the case is charged. That's the federal offense here. Minnesota is not a death penalty state, so there was no charge that we could do in state court that could get up to that. So the feds, took this on. They really believe they would have gotten it through. But again, the twisting, the turning, the possibility that, the district court judge might side one way, given the way our bench leans. They probably would have been successful perhaps if they go to the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. They could have. They firmly believe they could have. I don't know the Charlie Kirk case quite as well,
right?
And how it would relate to this one specifically. Daniel Rosen, the U.S. Attorney, made clear they thought they had it. I get the politics of it, too. Why some people kind of look at it. I know the early on there was sort of a flippant reaction from the White House in reference to our political violence in Minnesota. Right. It was DFL lawmakers that were targeted. I had questions about would these ultimate decisions become political. They got basically perhaps where we would have ended up anyway.
Right.
They did it without, exhausting huge amounts of resources, putting families through the trauma of trials and the like, and that's where we net out.
Appreciate you. Great stuff as always, my friend, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Dan. Take
Thank
care.
you. Paul Blume, Fox 9 intrepid reporter, kind enough to join us. The only thing I will add to the folks who are expressing bewilderment or concern or frustration about the state pursuing charges, I haven't exactly been all that effusive in my praise of the Moriarty administration. But in this case, and maybe I'll be talked out of this by people who I trust in this regard, I don't have a problem with prosecuting, regardless of, well, he's already double life, whatever. What's the point? I think the charges here are so heinous. This act is so heinous that it's kind of curious, because I think if you're a law and order guy or gal, you'd say every place you can prosecute him to make the point, even if it costs more money, go ahead and do it. Make all the statements that one should make with this kind of political assassination. I in this case, I'm not, based on what I know now, I'm not critical or that offended about the desire to say that this happened here. We're going to get if we can have state involvement to sort of accentuate the point, we will do exactly that. Dr. Dan's inbox is coming up. Is that correct? And you say we've got so many letters, we might have to extend it to tomorrow's show?
Rubes turned out. Like the celebrities at Madison Square Garden, the Rubes turned out.
You're listening to Barrero.
Treat Dad to the ultimate Father's Day at Canterbury Park. Enjoy mouthwatering eats from local food trucks, exciting racing action. Enter for a chance to win a brand new Lazy Boy recliner courtesy of the Furniture Mart. Full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
We got some Boombas coming in again. Some of these clouds I'm seeing off to the west and northwest look a little bit suspicious. So we have any kind of severe weather coming, or not so much? It's just maybe an occasional rain shower.
They say showers are likely and possibly a thunderstorm coming up a little bit later tonight.
I'm just saying, I don't want to get in trouble again if we have not given out the proper warnings or watches or whatever.
We do the best we can with the limited information we're given from the National Weather Service.
Don't you check with the KFAN Weather Center?
I could turn around and see. Nope, we're not there. Yeah, that's Halvey's room.
That's the Halvey room.
That's the old K-Talk newsroom.
That was the greatest. Remember the K-Talk newsroom?
It was my favorite, yeah.
Did anybody ever, other than Halvey, spend time in the K-Talk newsroom?
Langdon Perry was in there.
You're right. Langdon, there's a name
Danielle,
from the past.
What was Danielle's last name? Hitchens?
God, those are good names to bring up.
Yeah,
Been
Danielle,
too long.
those
she
two
was
grinded.
terrific.
They were both
they both
great.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different era we were in there.
Then they were kind of reassigned to other things. There wasn't much of a newsroom. The best part about the K-Talk newsroom was the whiteboard that they had back there. And they would have, stories we're tracking.
Yes.
And one day I turned around and said, stories we're tracking, and then it was nothing.
Nothing. It was like
just blank. It was just a blank whiteboard.
Yeah, we might have had a little bit of fun with that, I'm afraid. By the way, a couple other
teammates,
real
per
quick,
usual.
Before we get to the inbox, because I think Blume brought this up too. The concern is always on federal charges about the possibility of a pardon. And I don't have. I have no difficulty. I think Chauvin was convicted in both federal and state courts, as I recall it.
Run it up. I've got no problem.
Well, that's what's ironic, because you're hearing this from people who generally view themselves law and order. Send a message. But so don't let your anger or contempt with Mary Moriarty get in the way. Don't let it blind you. Follow the story in this case, and don't immediately go after it simply because of whatever feelings you have about her. And as I said, I've certainly been pretty critical about her number of moves since she's been in office, especially the last couple of years. But to me, I want every base covered in a story like this. And it shouldn't matter, you could say, but when you hear and read some of these details now coming out, it's almost doubly and triply so. But anyway, let's get to some letters. Let's try to lighten it.
For Dr. Dan's inbox.
Brought to you by?
We're waiting.
I can't believe somebody hasn't jumped on this by now.
Well, let's start out with this one.
Okay.
I'm going to change the order a little bit because because I just recognized what time it is.
Yeah, that's my fault. My clock management today has not been exemplary.
That's El Whalen's
It's Whalen,
fault.
yeah. Whalen gets going, and that's why, well, it's a little easier to control that in studio because then you say we're going to have her for the whole hour. So I cheated, and we ended up having her for like 42 minutes.
Dear Dr. Dan, our minds have been troubled for countless months, nay, years, on a certain problem, and as Minnesota's preeminent sports physician, we needed to reach out to you. We are longtime colleagues in the modern media world. It's all about the ratings and clicks nowadays, as you know, and there's an infinite amount of competition. How does one cement a consistent following and keep the bosses and advertisers off their back? One way would be over the top and outlandish with content, luring an audience to see what is said or seen next.
Yeah.
Another way is to provide provocative and highly entertaining guests and subjects to engage the masses. A little humor always helps. The key, though, from what I understand, Dr. Dan, is to be consistent and reliable. Letting your audience know when and where you appear is paramount to great ratings, and sticking to it. With that said, my friend and I seem to have the same problem. Each of our audiences has a difficult time finding us. My friend is supposed to appear every Thursday on KFAN at 4:30 p.m., but gets preempted more times than I can count. Sometimes it's 5:30, sometimes it's 3:30, or perish the thought, it gets relegated to another day, or run not at all. How rude. Tell me, Dr. Dan, how can the most anticipated and best segment of the entire B2B program weekly lineup be disrespected like that? I'm only asking because I know of what I speak. I get moved around on the 9 on Friday nights from my scheduled 9:30 time slot, sometimes ending up running in the overnight hours or being relegated to the plus. Whatever you can do to boost ratings for both of us would be greatly appreciated. This from E. Said and Dr. Z's inbox.
Well, in the latter case, it is fair to say that maybe I haven't insisted on greater consistency. And maybe that is disrespectful to the Rubes. In a sense, am I taking advantage of the fact that the Rubes really can't fight back? Because if it's a single guest, you could say, well, that person might get annoyed that we're continually moving that individual around, right? But it's almost like I'm taking for granted the good nature of all the letter writers and saying, well, they're going to be fine. They'll adapt. They always do. And I'm probably not going to hear from them as directly as I would from, let's say, a P. Kessler or from a G. Mason, who, by the way, stopped by today.
It was good to see him.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But we couldn't put him on yet for this year because he's not under contract.
Oh, and we had Russo at 3:15, and then we really would have had clock management problems.
Yeah, you're exact. That's a great point. Yeah.
By the way, let's just get ahead of it, because I haven't even told you this yet, because it's a week from today, but I'm out next Thursday.
What?
I've got an appearance at Maynard's that I've got to go to. You want to come out and do the show from there?
What a fraud.
Hey, got 3 kids, man. You got to do what you got to do. So there will be, unless B. Blakemore does it, Jay Gard will not be doing Dr. Dan's Inbox next Thursday, so we should get ahead of that.
Well, in fairness to me, a lot of the inconsistency on the inbox was for you, like about a 4-month period, you took like 12 Thursdays off.
I was gone a lot.
That might have had something to do with it.
We can blame D. Plitzelite.
Yeah.
Blame D. Plitzelite in their mythic run.
That's true.
Yeah, I was in Sacramento for at least one of them.
It's time
All right.
for Dr. Dan.
Yeah, we're going to have to go at least 2 segments, don't you think?
That's fine. I got no problem with that.
Oh, we get letters. We get your
I like this one. Dear Dr. Dan, do you happen to have contact information for C. Engelbert? If not, do you happen to know of a place where I can get clothing with a famous skyline or buildings printed on them? And no, I'm not looking for anything with T. Alamo. I need this on Saturday. This from A. Silver.
Oh, that's so good. By the way, did you see? Is A. Silver under siege for the position he took vis-a-vis the Trump visit for Game 3 at the Garden?
Well, I'm sure he is, yeah.
Because
refresh people what his position was.
He was very, very savvy, in my view, and very smart. Because he very subtly reminded, who was he on with where I heard?
Had to have been ESPN.
Might have been. It was with Charles Barkley and the guys.
Okay.
That's when it was one of the pregames.
Yep.
I think maybe it was a different interview. Regardless, he very subtly pointed out that it was the owner of the Knicks who invited him, which was his subtle way of saying, we didn't invite him.
Right. Not on us.
Not on us. But then he went on to say, look, I go way back in New York, been to a lot of Knicks games. The guy went to a lot of Knicks games. He's been a real sports fan. Look, we all, none of us are getting along politically at this point, but sports is the one place where you got to try to rise above that a little bit. And I just thought he gave a really savvy, smart answer where he did two things. Like I said, one, reminded people that the NBA didn't invite him.
Can't blame me.
And that it's the owner's prerogative. He can do exactly what he's going to do. And by the way, I thought that was going to doom the karma at the Garden. What happened last night? No one's bringing up that the Knicks had no chance to win Game 4 or come back from Game 4 because of the continued bad juju related to Trump's appearance in Game 3. Suddenly, that story's been dropped.
Well, you know who fixed it?
Who?
T. Swift.
Think that's what it was?
T. Swift changed the whole energy.
They showed her too much last night.
Well, she's sitting courtside.
I know, but I mean, she's not a Knicks fan.
She is, actually.
Seriously?
I've been down a Swiftie rabbit hole today. Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. What are you, Monica McNutt?
Proven?
Yeah, she's been going to Knicks games for a long time.
Certificate?
She's got a picture with some random Nick from like 10 years ago.
I'm skeptical, but I'll take your word for it.
And T. Swift doesn't need me to defend her, but the girls she was with, though, they have talked about how they don't like living in New York, so now they're under siege for being frauds. It is funny.
And who are they?
Is it the Hames sisters there? Music people that she's in with?
That'd be fun.
Yeah. You like their shirts?
No. What do they? I don't even know what they say.
Stevie Nicks was one of them.
Oh, it was?
KNICKS.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It was all very punny. There was another one.
Very clever.
They're very clever.
Yeah, it's wacky.
Yeah, it's great.
Just really good stuff. Good hijinks.
Time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every
Well, here it is. You might get a sponsor if Inbox wasn't skipped like 2 to 3 times a month. Well, trust me on this. We get a sponsor, it'll never be skipped.
I'll have to quit my Gopher job.
You might have to, exactly.
Yeah,
or Blakemore might have to be in on the bit.
He would. It can't be L. John Silvers, unfortunately.
No,
that wouldn't help.
End of an era. Man, I'm still down.
We might hear from
LJS.
them. We might hear from them. That might be foreshadowing. Dear Dr. Dan, the Knicks pulled off an epic win last night, and frankly, I'm uncomfortable. A comeback like that, exciting, yes, but also rude. I'd already made peace with losing. I settled in. Then suddenly they win. Now I have to feel hope. Hope is a burden, Dr. Dan. Fans are hugging, screaming, believing. Dangerous stuff. One big win and everyone acts like decades of Knicks pain just erased. They are not erased, only laminated. So yes, I'm happy, but suspiciously happy, which is the worst kind of happy. Pretty stressful. Yours in reluctant joy, L. David.
L. David. Well, again, you played the interview from Jay McEnroe during the Top 5. And it will shock absolutely nobody that L. David was true to form, according to McEnroe, and basically said, what are we doing here? This is stupid. Nothing's happening. Why are we staying? I mean, there's a reason he's L. David, right? So, yeah.
And Johnny McEnroe's got to talk him off the ledge.
Of all people.
That's the best part.
Mr. Positive.
We got to hang in, Larry.
Got to hang in. Now, I wonder if he really said that. That's the other thing. The beauty of this is you can lie about whatever you were really thinking at the time because nobody can really check.
Right.
No one's going to check those facts because they're not important enough to have a fact checker, actually, correct?
The best, one of my favorite videos from last night is L. David when Jay Hart misses that layup. And I don't know, have you seen that one?
No.
I'll send it to you. They're all standing because the place is crazy.
Yeah, that was.
They're about to take the first lead of the game, and he bricks that layup, completely sells it, as the kids would say. And it looks like a Curb Your Enthusiasm scene. Larry David just almost goes to his knees. The guy to the right of him, not Jay McEnroe, basically has to hold him up because his reaction is so visceral and physical. I'll send you the video during the break.
That's pretty good.
It's as good as it gets.
Yeah, because on that play, you did have the feeling, well, if this thing goes pear-shaped where they finish just short, that's the play everybody's going to remember, right?
Yes, even though there was still time.
There was still time, for sure.
That would have come up for sure. Let's do one more of this segment. Take a break. Dear Dr. Dan, say it with me. O.G. Anunoby. IU Hoosier alums may forget my name, but Knicks fans certainly won't. You think Jay Randall is hustling like me to get a tip in? You think D. DiVincenzo is hitting 7 threes? Career high 33 points for the win in Game 4, Dr. Dan. We finished the largest comeback in NBA Finals history, and you spend the majority of your show discussing mediocre fast food joints. Sad, really. Did you know I signed a 5-year, $212 million deal with the Knicks in 2024? Thanks, Jay Brunson, for leaving fat sacks on the table for me and others. The only apron we're worried about is putting one on to cook these Spurs like a T-Bell Chalupa or L.J. Silver's treasure box. It's going to be a shame when this series ends in 5, and the only reason it wasn't 4 because the president was in attendance. Wemby tried acting strong by elbowing our guys in the head, but it turns out he's soft like hush puppies. Jay Gard can shut the multiple yearbooks on his B. King breakfast stories. And L. Whalen T-Bell story, by the way, oh my Lanta. OG out, oh, and Anobi.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll chat with his college coach, T. Crean, tomorrow. I'm very much looking forward to that.
There's when we're targeting.
A lot to get to with him beyond that story. He's... Well, if you go back to the S. Mitchell prediction that the Knicks were going to win the series, the finals, and he made that prediction before the playoffs began, a lot of it for him was belief that the Knicks had 2 problems at the forward position, right? If you want to go power forward, small forward, you can do whatever you want. And he had Anunoby at the top of the list. That he's one of those guys who kind of flies under the radar, but is a really, really, really good player, especially when he gets involved. He's got strength. He's got size. He's not, in a league now that's let's play 3 guards. Let's play interchangeable. Well, the Knicks do have some interchangeable parts, but their forwards are bigger, stronger, and in Anunoby's case, good height and good size. And he really, you could argue, as bad as it was, the biggest deficit was 29, that without him, throughout the game, it's 40. Or you do not have any chance to mount the comeback that they did. And I will again say, I know there have been more mythic last-second shots, baskets made. Obviously, it's hard to top Michael Jordan, Game 6, Salt Lake City, Utah Jazz, push off the whole bit, right? But what I think makes this one mythic is it wasn't that kind of a shot. It was a tip. And yes, he was given a clear path to the basket, but I don't care what anybody says. That's still a hell of an athletic and beautiful play to watch. Your timing and your control of the ball. Tip-ins aren't as easy as they look unless you're going to be able to just do a straight dunk follow,
right
which
on
that
top.
Was not.
No, it was not.
You got to make that work. And he did, and it came after what? The defensive play of the game when your guy,
I know.
Is it De'Aaron Fox?
Not DeAndre, as Charles Barkley called him last
night. That's
true.
I have that same problem he does.
Yep.
Decided, hey, I can get ahead of the pack here and get an easy layup. And there is no excuse for a veteran player doing what he did. I know the trap he was in. He literally was almost, as he grabbed the ball, at the basket. So I'm going to slip this right ahead.
Right.
And Anunoby said, no, you're not. And again, with the shot clock situation and the clock situation, you go the other direction. You make them chase you.
And he's fast.
He is fast.
He could have burned a lot of time.
And he didn't do it. But that's still not giving Anunoby enough credit for making a hell of a play. By the way, P.J. Colissimo on the radio thought actually that Anunoby fouled on that play.
There's that still shot that's being, which he probably did because everything is a foul in this series and nothing is a foul.
That's true.
It's a hard series to officiate.
Extremely. Hell, the Cat 3. It was an offensive foul.
It was.
Without any question.
It was.
But nevertheless, that's the way it goes sometimes. Let's take a pause. We got some more inbox items to get to, some text to include as well. Don't go away.
You're listening to Barrero.
Hendo writes that Knicks fans literally circled the arena burning sage to dispel the bad juju before game number 4. Are you a big sage guy? You use burning sage to get the bad stuff out and the good stuff in?
I feel like maybe I should be.
Yeah,
I've never done it. I like the smell of it.
I do not. I no longer mock and ridicule any of that stuff, that mystical stuff. Who knows? Who's to say? We got some more letters to get to. Dr. Dan's Inbox extended version. We may include some text before we are done. What do you have?
It's
got multiple from this individual. Dear Dr. Dan, it's my turn. Years ago, it was Jay Bowie who met Dee Crockett when he arrived to the fight. So after last night's game, I felt the need to meet my S. Antonio Spurs Davey on the runway when they arrived. This time I was dressed in my best buckskin jacket and raccoon skin cap to deliver my message. I told them their performance was similar to trying to listen to someone talk with food in their mouth. I simply couldn't understand it. Our battle against those in N. York uniforms and the front row celebrities like T. Chalamet, B. Stiller, and S. Lee will be an uphill one, but what if? What if they remember the word that means to move freely, set screens, to stay away from the isolation style of play, motion? Will it be enough, Dr. Dan? Remember the motion offense. Remember the motion offense. Remember the motion offense. G. Popovich. By the way, another G. Popovich letter also included talking about questions with food in their mouth. So thank you to Alan and thank you to Clayton.
This, to Dr. Dan, is the real litmus test regarding the G. Popovich speeches. You know what would really show me something? When is Game 5? Saturday. This is what would show me something. The Athletic do the oral history of his next speech, but it be reported before the game is played. Does that make any sense? Where
yes.
You go, okay, it's on the front end where it can't be a convenient hook after the fact because it's dramatic and we want to believe that G. Popovich fixes everything, even when he doesn't. That's my hope and desire is let's see the reporting on it before the game. Because at that point, when you're reporting on it, and we don't know whether it's going to work or not. And I'll actually believe in it more if it does work. I would be surprised if the Spurs don't win Game 5.
Really?
You think it's over?
I think it's over.
Do you really?
I do.
I think the Spurs have one more victory in them. I don't know if I'd go to the bank on it, but I think that'd be the case. And here's the other thing. I'm already hearing, well, if Popovich were still coaching, there's 2 games already that the Spurs spit the bid on in this series that they would have won with Popovich.
I mean, come on.
It's too easy to say it, and beyond that...
He didn't win every game.
Go back to this... What about, not only did he not win every game, go back to the finals against Miami. The year where...
Game 6.
It's over.
Yeah.
Remember the scene of Heat fans pounding to get back into the arena?
Yes.
As they found out, oh my God, we're making this miracle comeback? To the point where G. Popovich said he was tortured forever over what took place in that situation. So, again, G. Popovich is an all-time coach. Is the new guy on his level? Probably not. But I think it's become too easy to turn that into the story of this series.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, it was refreshing to be in a real basketball arena like M Square Garden, in a real basketball town like N. York. This is what I want for us as well. T Center is cute, but sitting courtside with M. Rosen does not do us justice, even if those tickets are available to everybody. Being there with T. Swift, Jay Seinfeld, Jay Fallon, even the W-Tang Clan played at halftime. When the Knicks host the L. O'Brien, I want Timberwolves fans to know this is what can happen if we build a new arena in A Valley, Arden Hills, D-Town, Minneapolis. A. Rodriguez.
Well, here's what's interesting. You confirmed A. Rodriguez was there. I think you confirmed at the Garden. You confirmed he was in like row 5, 6, or 7. Row 7.
From what their sheet said.
Is it fair to say, and how humbling would it be for A. Rod to not be considered like preeminent in that environment? It's not his show. It's not his deal. Is that humbling for him? Is he capable of being humbled?
That's what I was going to say. Does he even realize that? I mean, we love A-Rod. He's our guy now. Yes. But did he know?
No. Well, and I was promised another A-Rod audience here like months ago. Whatever happened to that plan?
Hang on. Where's C. Weber?
Yeah,
Good
fine.
luck.
I don't think, that's fine. You can dismiss us if you want. That's okay. That's fine. I have no problem with that. That's bulletin board material for me. I'll use it.
Well, we definitely
we'll use it.
will.
We'll definitely use it,
We
for
need
sure.
it. We always do.
Yeah.
It's time for Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan, apparently expressing interest in expanding to Edina was akin to doing business in a literal hornet's nest. Fine. Your loss. Stick to your drab speedways and underwhelming holidays. Do you know that we were named as one of USA Today's 10 best for gas stations and gas station food? We're sure none of the thousands of people employed near this gas station island would have benefited from our food, clean restrooms, nearly free glazed donuts, or friendly employees. I guess we'll just keep thriving and growing and being the best.
That's
just
true.
not in Edina. Guess we won't see you next time. This from K Trip.
Well, you know where I am a fast food snob? We were talking about that earlier as we were owning the death of the last Long John Silver's in the state of Minnesota, the one that was at the Mall of America. There is one area where I am kind of a fast food snob. I don't think I can remember the last time I grabbed hot fast food items from any of those kinds of gas stations.
You're missing out.
Superstores, and that's what people keep telling me.
You're missing out.
I mean, so maybe I have to work on that part of it. I told you my best decadent fast food story was little Danny Barrero living for 3 lost years, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I would basically live for relatives who would take the Hound. They didn't drive. They would take the Hound from, like, Gary, Indiana, my grandparents. They would take the Hound to spend some time with us in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then our bit would be my dad and I going to the downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee bus station to pick them up. And I would always insist that we get there an hour early because they had a cafeteria, and I fell in love with their fried chicken. I couldn't get enough of the Chattanooga Greyhound bus station fried chicken. Think about it. So I'm not usually a snob on that, but I admit on the gas station place, I go, well, how do you know what's decent to what's absolutely inedible? Is there a rule of thumb?
You got to try
trial and error.
You trial and error.
Okay.
There's some. I mean, Guy Fieri has a partnership with one of these gas stations.
Is that true?
Flavortown.
Oh,
yeah, not that
interesting.
he's the be all end all.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he's D FEMA or G Kaysen,
Right.
But he's got a pretty good deal. Or A Zimmern. Yeah, gas station food. I'm in.
You're in.
I'm in. Yeah, taquitos, the breakfast sandwiches,
Okay.
the pizza, the breakfast
the whole
pizza.
bit.
Casey's breakfast pizza. That's where it's at.
What the hell's breakfast pizza mean?
There's like eggs on it and cheese and
But
hash
is it a
browns.
pizza?
But it's a crust.
Come
yeah.
on, man.
Oh, you're going to get hammered in the inbox. It's probably It's the greatest thing
Why
ever.
do we got to put different meals together? Why can't we have
There's some things I can't explain.
distinctions? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And then they're all good. If you don't mix them, they feel fresh.
Oh, the breakfast pizza. I could eat it at any time of day.
What else? So it's egg?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Like
It's
cheddar?
Yeah. It's everything you'd have for
Bacon?
breakfast, but it's on a pizza.
But
You
on
can
a
put
pizza.
bacon, some sausage if you want. Oh, yeah.
That does sound decadent.
I was going to say, you would like it.
Okay, I might.
Yeah, you'd like it.
Somebody's saying Quick Trip cheese bread sticks are the best.
Yes.
Casey's gas station, shockingly good pizza.
There you go.
Well, Casey's been a big sponsor, right, for
Yes.
Common forever.
Yeah, Casey's it's great.
Okay.
Casey's breakfast pizza is good. We got to try to sneak a couple
It's
more in.
time
All right,
for
do what you can.
Dr. Dan's Inbox.
Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Dear Dr. Dan. All right, do I do this? I've heard from beyond the grave, you've learned of my demise, sent to the briny deep in all of ye's 10,000 lakes. Me and my mates can no longer plunder the Northland's booty for indigestion, gas, and diarrhea. But worry not. Hang on.
That's tough on the voice, you're
Me
right.
mates still sail the shores of Iowa and Missouri, apparently, and ye may run afoul of me scurvy dogs down south for an oily stomach churning treasure chest. Arr. That from L. Don't say I'm not committed.
No, that's committed to the
Dan
bit.
Hill.
That's for sure.
L. John Silvers.
That's pretty good. And that for those who missed it earlier in the show, we kind of did Ode to a Dead Restaurant, fast food restaurant, breaking news via Bring Me the News. reporting that the final Long John Silver's restaurant in the state of Minnesota is closing or has closed, and it's the one I remember because it's at the Mall of Hysteria. I'm a big Mall of Hysteria guy, and it's been there forever. And the last one, apparently, that was open, we think, was in Mankato, and that closed apparently a year ago. Iowa is filled with LJSs still.
And Casey's.
Even though the number apparently is way down from the old days, and it just brought back some memories for me and Rick Bozich, Bloomington, Indiana, just garbaging up at LJS on a given night. It was a beautiful thing. Just non-stop, first-rate quality grease.
Let's do one walk-off.
It's time for Dr. Dan's.
Glad the show's done. My voice is toast now.
Yeah, that's tough.
Oh, we get letters. We get
Honey.
letters.
Manuka honey. Take care of it for you.
Here's the walk-off. Dear Dr. Dan, happy to be included on the short list of things that could stop L. Whalen. Liv Moss, T. Bell.
Another good throwback that to fully appreciate, you'll have to podcast the show for especially at least the Lindsay Whalen phoner, which was between basically 4:10 and I cheated into about 4:40. Let's just say for the sake of the record, and this won't be surprising to people who've listened to Elle Whalen with us before, she likes a good meal. And she's not afraid of a good fast food meal. She's a comfort food gal.
Especially after a big win.
Especially after a big win. And right now, we got the best record in all of hockey. And we've got a showdown game, national TV Saturday, right, against the defending champions?
Saturday night, CBS.
And I give Elle Whalen credit on Miles, who she loves. Effusive in praise. However, she did say, okay, now we're getting into kind of a fatter part of our schedule, getting a little tougher, more attention to her, the whole bit, and that's going to be the next step. And I like that because it is a process, and there are probably going to be some bumps in the road. Although everything she told us confirmed what I think the eyes tell us or reveal to us, that Miles has a chance to be a real keeper for your M Lynx.
This is
Show Wrap presented by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
June 11, 1986, 40 years ago today, a motion picture called Ferris Bueller's Day Off was released in the United States of America. For some of us, a fine rite of passage film. If you've never seen it, watch it tonight. I mean, it's dated. It's a different world then. But it's very funny. It's very creative. It's extremely well done. And it delivers a couple of pretty good messages. Of course, Matthew Broderick, the star of that show, but a very good ensemble cast. Bueller.
Oh, yeah.
Bueller. God, it's so good. Anyway, that's the date, I guess. I'm taking at their word that the Twitter handle Chicago History is accurate, that this is the day. Sometimes those anniversaries get kind of fudged, but close enough.
Quick Chicago question.
Yes.
Was Abe Froman really the sausage king of Chicago?
Confirmed.
Really?
There was only one, and it was Abe.
Wow.
There's no question about it.
I never knew.
Thank you, Lindsay Whalen. Thank you, inbox letter writers. Thank you, Paul Blume, and who am I forgetting?
Russo
Radio. How could I forget him? We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.